Hello, in this video we shall be learning the very basics of HTML. We shall learn HTML syntax, what are tags, and we will be making a project like this. This is a very simple web page, there is nothing fancy, but this will be our first steps to learning HTML and front-end web development. So what exactly is HTML? Basically, when we visit any website, there are three main components to make it up. First of all, we have HTML defining its layout. HTML defines the exact text, exact elements that appear on the web page. As an example, here we have HTML defining that we need to have an image there, followed by some text, followed by some buttons, then some fields where we could enter any data, and it's further followed by further buttons and even more text. After HTML, we have CSS, and CSS is used to define the appearance of the elements that we created through HTML. As an example, here this text is centered in the page, this image is also centered, this button have a white background with an icon floating on the left side, this button has a blue background, all of this is defined through CSS. Finally, we have JavaScript and it defines the functionality of the screen. As an example, if I enter my username and password here and then click login, it's going to send a request to the server. It's going to fetch some data, tell me if I could log in or if I have entered an incorrect password. All that functionality is handled by JavaScript. HTML is the simplest of these three. You wouldn't require any fancy syntax or would need to learn any advanced concepts. All you would need to do is to learn a few basic concepts and then you can reuse them every time you're making a new website. So before we begin, I will be taking a very structured approach to teaching. First of all, we are going to learn the theory of the concept we are trying to learn. We would then follow by making a project. We are going to make the project you saw in the intro. And finally, I am going to give you an assignment and I want you to complete that assignment and show me in the comments what you have built. And I don't want to continue to another video until you have completed the assignment. This is incredibly important. You can skim through the entire playlist. You can watch every single video and you will not be learning anything. So I don't want you to just skim through the videos. I want you to actually learn something and take something out of here. So let's begin. First of all, how are we going to write HTML? All you need to do is to open any browser and we're going to search CodePen here. There's a website called codepen.io that will let you write HTML without having to install or download anything. Here, if you don't have an account yet, create an account. You just need to go there. You will be asked to sign up and you can simply sign up, enter your email and create a new account. Once you have created an account, you will be presented with this dashboard. All you need to do is click the pen option here, and here we have a new window where we can write HTML. So I'm going to begin. We can write anything here. Let me just write this is HTML. And in a few seconds, automatically this text appears here. This is the very basic form of HTML. We hadn't added anything. We have simply written some text and the browser is going to render it in this format. This is all we need to start writing HTML. However, we don't just want to write text in a website. We need to format the text, we need to create tables, images, we need to create forms, we need to create buttons and so on. So in order to create different type of elements, we have a concept called tags. So what exactly are tags? Tags are simply HTML syntax done in this format. We begin first with an angular bracket, then we have a tag name, and then we close the angular bracket with another angular bracket. I'm just going to remove it and use text instead. Okay, so we need to begin with an angular bracket. You will find it under K on your keyboard. Then we could enter any tag name and then we close it with another angular bracket. We could then enter any kind of content. As an example, if we need to create a heading, I am going to change this tag name to the name of headings tag, which is h1, like this, and then I can write the text of my heading. As an example, I can write this is a heading. Then I am going to close my tag. In order to close the tag, I need to open the angular bracket again. I am going to type the slash character and then I need to type the name of the tag again and then I can close the bracket. So let's try it in CodePen. I am going to remove this. We are going to open a new tag, angular bracket, h1 for heading, angular bracket close. This is a heading. We can write any text here and then I am going to close it with another angular bracket slash h1. And as you can see, our text changes to a heading. It automatically becomes bold and is increased in size. We can also create other tags like, as an example, let us create a tag called B. So what this tag does is it changes our text to bold. If we remove this tag, let me remove it right here. You can note how the formatting has been removed from that text. Even more interestingly, we don't have to just write text in a heading or in any other tag. We can also include other tags in the content. As an example, inside h1 I can maybe start another b tag, angular bracket tag name, angular bracket close, again angular bracket slash b angular bracket close, and any text I enter here will be formatted first by h1 style. It would be formatted as a heading first and then it would be bolded. In most browsers this would not show you a difference, but in some cases with some tags we can actually see a difference. Let me show you an example with a very interesting tag. Let us go back to the code pan and I am going to begin angular bracket b angular bracket close angular bracket slash b angular bracket close, and here I am going to write H2O, simply the formula for water. It appears, but as you know, we need the 2 to be smaller and closer to the H. We don't want it to appear with the same size as H and O. So what we are going to do is we are going to use a nested tag. I am going to remove that 2, angular bracket open, and I am going to use a tag called sub for subscript. So let's write sub angular bracket close 2 angular bracket open sub angular bracket, oh sorry, slash sub and angular bracket close, and now you can see how it appears. We also have an alternate tag instead of it. Let's take a different example for it. I am going to type 2 angular bracket open sup for superscript angular bracket close 2 slash sup and angular bracket close, and it shows us 2 squared in the proper mathematical format. There are over 100 tags in HTML, however we don't have to learn every single one of them. There are just a few that we need to learn and it would allow us to make any kind of web page. In this video, we are only going to learn a few of them. I'm going to move this to a side. Just give me a minute. There. And I am going to list the tags we are going to learn in this video. So first of all, we have the h1 tag. We already discussed it. It's used to create a heading. We then have p tag. P is used to mark a paragraph. So if you want to create a new paragraph in a web page, you are going to use p tag. We then have B or bold. We discussed it already as well. We then have I or italic, and it's used to make any text italic. As an example, let me select that here. And the I tag will let us change this text into an italic format. Let us remove all this. So let us go through each tag one by one. First of all, we have h1 or heading tag. And it's really simple. We simply follow the format of angular bracket open, h1, angular bracket close, and then we can write any kind of text. And it's automatically converted to a heading. Then we have P, and the reason we need to place text in P is because it gives them proper paragraph formatting. Let me type any text here. Angular bracket open slash angular bracket close, and I am going to create another P tag. And as you can see, this tag automatically adds some distance between them both. If I remove those tags, this is what this would look like. We can break it into different lines. There is another tag that can be used to break it onto different lines. However, we are not going to discuss that here. For now, you just need to remember that whenever we create a paragraph, we need to use the P tag. Angular bracket open slash P angular bracket close. It's as simple as that. We then have B tag. B is used to make any text bold. It's also very simple. We have already seen it in action. We are going to open angular bracket, B, angular bracket close. I am going to place any text here, angular bracket open, slash P or angular bracket close. And by following these steps, a bold we have created a bold section in our text. After this, we have the I tag. This is also incredibly simple. I am going to use a paragraph here to demonstrate it. And we are going to open angular bracket, I, angular bracket close, italic, angular bracket open, slash I and angular bracket close. And this automatically formats our text. Now let's try to create the project we saw previously. I am going to open the project right here. It's incredibly simple. I believe you wouldn't even need my help. Let us go there, and I am going to begin first with a heading. As you can see, this text is created with a heading. I am going to open angular bracket h1, angular bracket close. Then we need to have a p tag which would contain some text. I am going to follow the same procedure, angular bracket open, p, angular bracket close. Um, in HTML, we can create tags like. Now we need to make h1 bold, so we're going to use a b tag, angular bracket open, b, angular bracket close, h1, angular bracket slash b, and then angular bracket close. Let's follow through. We then have end followed by another bold tag, and then we can close our paragraph tag. We don't have to place everything in a single line. We can place them in different lines to better distinguish them. I am going to break it onto different lines. Oh, I misspelled the first tag. Let me correct this. And there we go. We also need a full stop there. Let's make our second paragraph. Another p tag. Now we need a bold tag here. B tag. Bold tag close. Now we need an I tag finally. Finally, we can close our p tag. And we need another full stop there. So there we go. So now for the assignment, I am going to show you a web page. Let me open it up. And you need to replicate it using HTML only. It's very simple. We have a heading, we have a few bold words, a few italic words, but most of it is incredibly simple. You don't need to use any advanced tags. You just need to use the 4 tags I just taught you. So you're going to make that assignment and then you can share it with me by going back to CodePen. You can perform the code here, and after you have performed the code, you need to give it a title first of all. Let me name it HTML01 sandbox. We're going to save it, and then you can just copy this URL over here, and then you can share it with anyone. You can comment it on the video, you can share it with me directly, and I would be able to view the work you have done. So that's it. I guess if you can complete the assignment, you are fully ready for your first job. I just want you to complete the assignment, show it to me in the comments, and then we can move on to our next video.